Hey everybody, it's AlexMercedes.com, and this is the first in sort of a new batch of PHP series tutorials, or tutorials on PHP, the programming language. I'm going to be using not the latest version, but almost latest version of PHP, so PHP 7.4 and up. So if you don't know if you have PHP, type in PHP in your terminal and type in -- version to see which version you have. I highly recommend to follow this tutorial that you upgrade to at least 7.4, so that way you have pretty much all the latest features. Yeah, so that's PHP 7.4, and the other thing you're going to want to download, you can download Visual Studio Code or Atom as your editor, of course, but I will be using the JetBrains PHP IDE, which is called PHPStorm. So if we go to JetBrains list of tools, we have, where is PHPStorm? Here it is, PHPStorm. Okay, so you can go download that. It is not free, and I don't think there's like a free version like PyCharm, but there is a free 30-day trial if you want to use it and just get used to it, and just so you can see what the price would be if you decide you wanted to buy it. Okay, that's for the first year, where you can do like the whole, where you get everything thing. That's if you want to pay monthly, that's how much it is. That's for organizations. For individual use, let's see what the individual use is. Okay, a bit cheaper. Yearly. That's not too bad. Okay. And then again, if you're like a student or something, you can probably get like even cheaper. Cool, so that's the IDE I will be using. Okay, so again, you can use it if you want. Now make sure you download PHP, and let me just give you a little tutorial on just sort of what PHP is in the first place. PHP is a language that was originally designed pretty much for the sole purpose of the web, and that's pretty much still its purpose. That's just become more important because the web is more and more of all our digital consumption. Websites like Facebook were originally built on PHP, which has a much more interesting story with what Facebook did with PHP. WordPress is built with PHP, so pretty much most, I think like 50% of websites are built using WordPress. So PHP takes up a lot of the internet. So when you're taking a look at like, okay, what language could you learn that's going to possibly open up the door to employment? This is a good one because there's a lot of jobs. Now PHP gets a bad rap, mainly because there were certain points in its history where it had some flaws. A lot of those have been improved upon. A lot of the sort of more modern syntactical things like arrow functions have been recently added in like literally version 7.4. But basically, PHP has really sort of adapted, really become a pretty powerful language in its current form. And with web frameworks like Laravel, which give you sort of a Ruby on Rails experience in PHP, and then some, PHP is certainly sort of making a comeback, even though it is sort of one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant language on the internet next to JavaScript. So, because 100% of websites use JavaScript because you have to. But when it comes to the back end, I think it's over 50% use WordPress and like 60% use PHP. So, the vast majority. Also, because just so many web hosts just naturally use PHP already out of the gate on their servers. So PHP is a good language to learn if you're going to be working on the web. Cool. So you got PHP installed on your computer. Let's see here. I'm on, I think, my root. So I'm just going to make a folder called, let's see, let's just go cd into my development folder. Development. And then do I have a PHP folder in there? Yeah, I do. So cd into PHP. I'm assuming I already have files in here. I do. Well, I'll make a new one. So I'm going to make a new file. Nano. Nano is a built-in text editor built into your terminal if you're on Linux. If you're on Windows, I'm not sure what you would have on Windows. But if you're on Mac, you probably have Vim out of the box. Either, whatever. The point is we're going to make a file. Nano test.php. Okay. And basically the way PHP works is the file always basically all your PHP code always has to be wrapped in this tag here. Okay, so there's all my PHP code in between those tags. So we're going to do the traditional hello world, and we're going to echo hello world. Okay, echo, think of it as sort of your version of print or your version of console log. We'll be using echo. The thing is that, again, PHP is a language for the internet, so there is no terminal. So you can't really print PHP. I mean, there is PHP CLI, so technically you could do that. But echo hello world is really what it's doing. It's printing to an HTML file as text. Okay, so whatever you echo, it just adds, because basically what happens is that the PHP server, or the server that has PHP installed, like Apache or just straight up PHP server, it renders a PHP file and then takes all these little snippets of PHP code and turns them into HTML. Okay, into an HTML file that the browser does render. So I'm going to save this, Control X to save something in Nano. Yes, I mean, escape. Test.php. No. What was it originally? Oh, I wrote text.php, that's why. Okay, text.php, but if I wrote PHP now, PHP, text.php, I think it would run it in the CLI. Yep, and you get hello world right here. So if you have PHP installed, you could run it in the terminal because you have PHP installed, but also I could run this in the browser. Okay, and the way I would do that is I can go to PHP dash, I think it's a capital S, and I always forget the last part of the where do I have that command? Here we go, localhost. So we'll say localhost 3000. This sets up a local server. So PHP dash capital S localhost 3000. This is a built-in PHP command to set up a server. So if I hit that, there the server has started. And now I can go over here into the browser, type in localhost, because it serves in that folder. So localhost 3000 / text.php. And there it is, hello world. Okay, so that's the different ways you can kind of work with PHP. I'll just hit a Control C to turn off the PHP server. Okay, I mean, you could also download something like MAMP or XAMPP to work with PHP. Probably overkill now that you have all these tools in the PHP CLI, which makes it pretty easy just to work straight with PHP from the get-go. So what have we learned? 1, install PHP. 2, you can get the JetBrains editor, but you can use any text editor. The idea is you make PHP files. You can start up a web server straight from your terminal, built into PHP, and you can use your PHP files from there. And yeah, that's a pretty good start. We did a hello world, and how was that? It was with echo. Okay, now what we're going to do is open up JetBrains or PHPStorm. I have it set up on my computer where I can just use a command because make my life easier. This is not something that happens out of the box. But I'm going to open up PHPStorm. And then this will be sort of where we wrap up this video. And if you think my voice is hoarse, it is true because I had just woke up. Okay, PHPStorm is opening up. Okay, do not import settings. Bring this over here. There we go. Yeah, I always like having the sure. Yes, that's always nice. I'm not quite sure what that is. Not really. Interactive view for .log files. Oh, that sounds nice. Nah. Okay, just waiting for it to finish loading. Loading. I'll close this out. And then again, all the documentation's here, just so you guys know. So here on PHP.net, let's go to the documentation. And PHP is a language with a lot of stuff going on. So it's one of those languages you could really sink your teeth into and learn all sorts of cool stuff. There we go, and we just create a new project. And where will I create it? Load, load, load. Load, 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 load. Okay, I'm gonna go back to home, Alex Merced. Okay. Yep. So I'll just do it in here, create a new folder. We'll call it PHPStorm. There you go. Just do it in there. Just add one more directory. Testing. This is where we do all our test work. Okay, create. So it's loading. But let's see here. English. Okay, and then you can see there's a lot of stuff to learn. We're not going to go through all this, but worth reading. There's a lot of really good, powerful stuff if you go through all of it. And then just something else to be aware of, that if you use like JavaScript and use like npm and Node, there's something like that for PHP called Composer. I won't really be going through Composer for this particular video series, but it is definitely something worth learning if you're going to be getting into PHP. So here's the website, getcomposer.org, and here you can download it and learn how to use it. And Composer is pretty cool. Again, if you've used Node and npm, it should be a very similar experience. Cool. Is this? Oh, that's this. PHPStorm. And this is still loading. Well, I'll let it load and we'll start here in the next video and we'll start doing some more cool stuff. See you guys there.